What's going on, everybody? Here today we're going to be talking about Skylanders again, and more specifically Super Evil Kaos and whether or not he could crush a stadium. Now today's video has been requested by Super Evil Kaos Ken Lesure, so I hope to see you down in the comments below as this video is going out to you. Let's get right into it now, shall we? Now more specifically, it was the how do you say that? The Doak CampBell Stadium. The Doak CampBell Stadium. Welcome to the Doak CampBell Stadium. Have us some baguettes. But anyways, it was this stadium that was specifically requested. However, I just took the liberty of using the standard units of measurement for stadiums just to make the calculations a bit easier because the numbers are insane.
What's going
so
on
please,
here?
if I got anything wrong and you have any idea of the calculations I'm talking about, feel free to correct me in the comments down below because I do not believe what I have found here.
Hey, so I got the calculations you asked for. I'll just leave them right here. But I was wondering, why did you order an entire animation budget to be blown up in a fight scene? And why does it say that I die? What the? He got out! Come here, you little! What the? Hey! Hey!
Also, Super Evil Kaos, the commenter that is, I'm very sorry to say this, but no, he would not. The Super Evil Kaos from the game would not crush the stadium under his foot. I'm very sorry to say that, but he's big. He's not that big. But I do think you're gonna like where this is going. So let's just start off with the stadium measurements and what it's made of. Now for starters, we're gonna be going off the measurements of an NFL stadium. Now, an average field in an NFL stadium is approximately 360 feet, which would mean that Kaos in his super evil form at about 400 feet would very nearly actually be able to lie down in just the field alone, not even accounting for all the bleachers and the surrounding support beams that actually make up the rest of the stadium. You see, where Kaos lacks in the height to be able to crush the stadium, he more than makes up for in his weight. But to be able to calculate that, first let's get into Super Evil Kaos dimensions, if you will. You see, the average height of Super Evil Kaos was roughly thought to be about 400 feet tall. The average shoulder to height ratio, however, is 1 to 4, meaning he'd have a width approximately about 100 feet, and a thickness, therefore, about 40 feet, given that the average thickness to height ratio is 1 to 10. We then use these numbers to calculate Super Evil Kaos' volume by using the standard volume equation of length times width times height, which then comes out to about roughly, roughly 1.6 million cubic meters. So we then take the cubic meters and convert them into cubic yards, which comes out to roughly 2.09 million cubic yards. You see, the average weight of volcanic rock, you know, he was in a volcano and his skin is made of rock. I'm just kind of guessing on that one, so don't quote me on it. It seems like the most obvious answer. So, moving on, okay? Moving on. The average weight of volcanic rock is roughly 1.3 to 1.500 pounds per cubic yard. So, multiplying this by our estimate, we can then determine Super Evil Kaos has a weight of anywhere between, oh my God, 1.36 to 1.56 million tons. So anyways, after looking into how many tons of steel go into making stadiums, we're gonna say it's about 20,000 tons of steel used in a stadium. But actually, I don't think this really matters because, as we said before, the field itself is 360 feet across roughly. Kaos's feet combined have an approximate length of 120 feet between them. If we go from the body to foot to height to width to height, we're going through all the ratios here. We got all the ratios, and the ratio for his feet say they should be 60 feet per feet. So anyways, with his feet then, he could definitely crush the stadium. However, it would take him many steps. I'd say maybe if he really tried, he could probably flatten the whole thing in like 12. Or maybe just one really big jump. Like he jumps in the center of the stadium and everything gets blown back from the side. Stadium gone. Okay, so to say whether or not he could crush the stadium, let me put it to you like this. The average steel thickness for construction beams is approximately 1/4 inch, which would take, according to the calculations, 125,000 psi to break. Now, this is just one example, as the average steel support beams are roughly 10 inches thick, which would then require 5 million psi in order to break. And now I know what you're thinking, but 5 million psi? There's no way he could break such a high-density support beam, let alone one spanning over 360 feet, over millions of tons of steel. To which I would have to say, what the heck is your accent? And secondly, I'd have to say, Super Evil Chaos is 1.56 million tons. He would not only break the stadium, he would decimate it. Every single step this guy takes would cause an earthquake. Frankly, that is the most realistic part of the boss battle, where the first stage, he's trying to crush you with his feet and creates shockwaves with it. That is somehow the most realistic part of this. The giant purple rock man formed from petrified darkness after we fought through hordes of greebles and trolls. Somehow they actually got the... But you know what? I lied to you. I'm sorry. This was never actually about the stadium. I know, I'm sorry. I lied to you. I lied to all of you. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Super Evil Chaos. I'm sorry. This has actually been about someone else. Someone very close to me, a very good friend of mine, who is here today to talk about Super Evil Chaos versus Godzilla. Here today, we have my good friend, Mr. Galaxy, all the way from his side of YouTube, here today to talk about Super Evil Chaos versus Godzilla. Get out here, man! Take it away!
You coming to me? I'm kinda a little bit busy right now, man. I'm on top of Shaco headquarters. Do you know how high the sky I am right now? Oh wait, I get it. Because I'm a Tokusatsu fan, you expected me to talk about this because I watch a lot of Kamen Rider and I watch a lot of Super Sentai. And I'm a massive Godzilla fan, although I'm more of a Kamen Rider fan. I still grew up with Godzilla. The point is, I see what you want. Okay, here we go. In terms of a fight between Godzilla and Super Evil Chaos, Godzilla is stated to weigh around 164,000 tons and stands at a roughly 394 feet tall. So about the size of an Ultraman. Meanwhile, Super Evil Chaos is roughly 400 feet tall and 1.36 through 1.56 million tons. Dude needs to lay off the sandwiches. Although both of them have beam attacks, Godzilla has more combat experience fighting kaijus than Chaos. For example, King Ghidorah, Bachelor, Mothra, Gigan, Zilla. He's got a whole list of monsters under his belt. But Kaos's 9.5 times greater rate would mean he's far more dense and more durable than Godzilla would be. But Godzilla is so powerful that he can break petrified darkness to cure Kaos from his super evil Chaos mode, thus changing him back to normal. And since we're using this guy as an example, Legendary Godzilla will do so much more damage because have you seen what he did to the Mutos? Kaos stands no chance against this. Also, combined with the fact that Godzilla is a walking nuclear reactor and he spreads radiation wherever he goes, and the amount of powers he can get in the anime and manga, and Godzilla Earth in general, and Super Evil Chaos would lose this no cap. But there's just one incy-wincy, tiny-whiny little flaw to this. Kaos's brain. For Kaos to transform back into his normal form, you need to destroy every bit of petrified darkness around him. This includes his feet, his teeth, his forehead, and his brain. Now, Godzilla can knock out his teeth any day of the week and actually stomp on him if he's the Showa-era Godzilla, but his brain? Unless his atomic breath is melting his head, I don't think Godzilla will be able to beat Super Evil Chaos. Super Evil Chaos will be able to wear him down and then get the drop on him. So unfortunately, Super Evil Chaos is the winner and gets to step on this Coliseum. Now, Shin Godzilla, on the other hand,